Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
As we mentioned, with Ian Thursday and all today's guests, including Craig Button, standing by in Sweden, brought to you by the Vancouver Giants. Giants are on a lengthy prairie road trip and return to the LEC for a 2 p.m. matinee game Sunday, January 21st. When we said lengthy, we mean lengthy. Visit VancouverGiants.com/tickets for ticket details. Joined now by TSN Scouting Director Craig Button, who's over in Sweden for the World Junior Hockey Championships. One semifinal game over today. The host country, Sweden, defeating Finland by a score of 5-2. Jonathan Lekkerimaki with 2 goals. Canuck prospect Jonathan Lekkerimaki with 2 goals for the victorious Swedes. And Craig joins us now. Craig, thanks for doing this, sir, taking time away from your job to do our show. We thank you for that. How are you? Happy New Year.
I'm great. Happy New Year to both of you. And, we got the next game doesn't start till 7:38 local time. So there's my pleasure to join you. And, it was a great game between with Sweden winning at 5-2. Czechia has been a good team in the tournament. They built and, really posed a challenge for Sweden. Sweden took their game up a notch. And then they took control of the game. They were quick, they were fast, and they really, in the third period, they got that power play. Lekkerimäki scores the goal, and then he scores another one. They were dangerous. They were good. And when you have really talented players and you get an opportunity like the Swedes did on the power play to take control of the game, they don't need much to take control of the game, but they were in position to take control of that game because of the way they played. And Jonathan has been one of the stars of this tournament. He has been fabulous from the first game, and they needed him today. They're going to need him in the gold medal game, but it's going to be electric in the building for the gold medal match. The Swedish fans were dancing, and the Swedish team really showed after a significant scare against Switzerland. They showed how good they can be, and they're a complete team. They're deep and they're really strong, and they know how to take advantage of their opportunities and to create those advantages, and then and then make them work for them. Really impressed.
Yeah, you touched on this, and you mentioned a scare against the Swiss. It was 2-2 going into the game against into the third period against Czechia. 3 third-period goals for Sweden. Jonathan Lekkerimaki, you touched on him as well there. The 2 goals today. He leads the tournament in goals, power play goals, and in shots. Maybe just elaborate a little more, Craig, if you don't mind. What's impressed you the most about the Canuck prospect?
If I go back in time, so at the U18 tournament in 2022, the Swedes won the gold. Lekkerimaki led the tournament in scoring. He becomes a first-round draft pick to the Vancouver Canucks. It's not a surprise. He's played very well in the Swedish Hockey League. He has gifts. And those gifts are offensive gifts. His release, his ability to get open at the right times. The puck comes off his stick, not only with real good velocity, but it comes off with accuracy. And he makes life difficult on goaltenders because he can move the puck around into different areas, into different spots, where the goaltender cannot just look at one area of the net to try to defend. And part of the development curve for young players is the physical maturity. And that's what you're seeing with Jonathan. That's what you see with young players, their ability to, as they physically mature, they can handle more, they can do more. And as they do more, they're also able to produce at a higher rate. And that just feeds itself. But, I mean, we're talking about a real top-notch offensive player that's coming for the Vancouver Canucks.
Okay, well, the Canucks have 2 more players on that team, Craig, Tom Olander and also Elias Pettersson. Give us your thoughts on those 2 in the tournament they've had so far.
Well, let me start with Tommy Wilander, because the 3 young defensemen, Wilander, Axel Sandin, Pellikka, and Theo Lindstein, they're 2005-born players. And they're all first-rounders last year. All really, really good players. They control the game. They defend hard. And Tommy Villander, I may have said this to you before. To me, he's got a game like Charlie McAvoy of the Boston Bruins. I don't think he's going to be Quinn Hughes like in terms of his offensive productivity, but he's going to give you offense. He's going to give you 20 strong minutes, 20 plus strong minutes of play in all areas of the game. And when you get players into your group that are as gifted as Tommy is, as Axel is, and as Theo is, like that just lifts your team further. As it comes down to Pettersson, and Pettersson really rounds it out nicely. He's got size, he's got weight, he competes hard, and defensively, the Swedes are really, really good. They're really, really strong. And so when you start factoring all those elements into a game, yeah, Tommy Villander is different than Elias Pettersson, but what they add to a team is critically important, whether it be on the penalty kill. There was a stretch where Czechia was playing in the second period and they were getting some opportunities. And watching how Magnus Havlev uses those guys, and Elias Pettersson's reading the play. Yuri Kulik, who's just a great goal scorer for Czechia, Pettersson a number of times just got right out on him. Where Kulik now doesn't have any opportunity to get the shot off, or if he does, it's getting blocked. And that type of defending, that type of play from those players that fit that role are critically important to winning. So what I would say is Lekkerimaki, Villander locks to play in the NHL, and Elias Pettersson is really trending in the right direction. And certainly maybe not an A prospect, but I would put him in the B process, solid B prospect. Give him a year to 18 months at the conclusion of this year, see where he's at. But you need those types of players that play hard and defend hard.
Craig, what happened to Canada? Did not get into the medal round for the first time since 2019. What happened there in your eyes?
They did not have a lot of offensive firepower, and that really hurt them. And now the question becomes, what could they have done different? And one of the things that Matty Savoy, Connor Geekie, Braden Yeager, Jordan Dumais, these are all really, really gifted players, really gifted offensive players. They've been awesome in their respective leagues. And now Carson Rakoff leading the OHL in goal scoring. This is a really hard level of hockey. I just talked about the Swedes, how well they defend and how hard they defend. And so you can be a top scorer, but to me, that was an area coming into this tournament that they didn't have enough of. They played hard. They competed hard. I thought that defensively they did lots of good things, but they couldn't give themselves any type of breathing room or any separation in games because they lacked that firepower. And certainly when you lose, there's going to be, could have we had this player? Could have we had that player? When you got top players that are struggling offensively, I think that tells a story. Now, the other thing I'm going to say is when you look at this group, I don't think they had a clear identity of what they were. Whether they were going to be an offensive side or whether they were going to be a big, heavy offensive zone side that could carry play in that way. They had gaps in both those areas, and it was almost like they were a patchwork quilt. They had a little bit of this and a little bit of that, but not enough up front to really push a team back that they were playing. And they were going to be on the margins. I thought coming into the tournament, they were going to be on the margins offensively, and they were going to have a lot of good, strong play in other areas of the game. But the margins offensively are ultimately where the shortcomings came. And, sometimes you can only do so much with what you have. And again, the spirit, the determination, all that was good for the team. If you can't score and you can't threaten the team offensively, you're going to struggle to take a hold of a game and ultimately win games.
Craig, I can't remember if I asked you this question in the past, but the subject has come up as much as it may hurt some young goaltenders. But what do you make of Canada's goaltending situation these days at both the pro level and at the junior level? Because it seems like other countries are ahead of us right now in that area.
Yeah, and I think it bears examination, Donnie. You start to look at number one. What I would say is that the NHL is now saying, well, you got to be a certain size. So they're looking at goalies that are 6'2.5", and well, when you're a 10-year-old kid or an 8-year-old kid, and you're not so sure about how much you're going to grow, and no 8-year-old kid or 9-year-old kid really can know that. And you're a parent, why are you going to spend all the money on goaltending if there's not a path forward or there's a really uncertain path? I think that's number one. I think number two, we have taken goaltending and taken the athleticism out of it to a large extent. We made it way too technical. And I think goaltenders, young athletes, have to be athletic and learn athleticism and everything. I see a lot of robotic play in the net from a very, very young age. So I think those two things combined, Donnie, have created a vacuum. And I believe that we have to start looking at how we allow the young players to feel that they have a chance, number one. Maybe it's not possible. Maybe we're reaching a point where we're not going to get goaltenders in there. But it's just as important that we let them develop that athleticism. Can you imagine if Dominik Hasek was starting out today?
Oh.
They would take the way Dominik Hasek played and take it right out of him. And that's what I mean about that. I mean, let them develop that part of it. They don't need to be learning technical aspects. It's like teaching, again, in Little League baseball. You're not having a young pitcher throw the curveball, the two-seamer. You're letting them throw the ball and strengthen their arms. And I think that's what has to happen with goaltending in Canada.
Let them stop the puck and go from there. Craig, thanks for taking time out to do this interview. I know you're busy. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, well, thanks. My pleasure doing it.
And again, Happy New Year. Thanks, Craig.